Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited to show you guys how to do today's craft because we are finally jumping into the world of sublimation. So I've been really wanting to show you guys how to do all my different sublimation products. For those of you that don't know, I sell a lot of sublimation products on my website and I get a lot of questions on them. So I thought the perfect sublimation craft, if you are beginning sublimation or maybe you're thinking about starting sublimation, is to do these super, and I mean super quick and easy car coasters. How adorable are these? So quick, so easy to do, really hard to mess up. I do plan on showing you guys all kinds of sublimation crafts that you guys can do, such as this adorable shirt that I'm wearing that I just made for myself last night. So if you have any other questions or comments, or if you have any requests of things that you want to see how to do, just drop a comment below and I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions and do any requests that you guys leave. So if you're interested in learning how I made these, come with me and let's go craft. Okay guys, so before we get started, I wanted to show you guys the sublimation printer that I use because I know a lot of you guys will be asking. So this is just a regular old printer. This is the Epson EcoTank 2760. This is a great starting point. I spent about $200 to $250, and as far as I know, that's the cheapest that you can spend on a sublimation printer. So this was a normal printer and I basically converted it to a sublimation printer because you have to use sublimation ink when you're doing any type of sublimation work. You cannot use regular ink. So once you put this sublimation ink into your sublimation printer, you cannot go back and forth between sublimation printing and regular printing. So I do have a separate printer that I use for my office and my stickers and all that. So this printer is just for all of my sublimation products. So just note that because that is very important to know when you get into sublimation. So I also want to note the only downside to this printer, in my opinion, is that I can only print on a regular size piece of paper, which also has to be special sublimation paper. So this is special sublimation paper. As you can see, it looks like a regular piece of paper. It's the same size as a regular piece of paper. It's not bigger. So that is my only complaint, that you can only print on a regular size piece of paper with this printer. They do have other Epson EcoTanks that can print on slightly bigger pages, but I want to say it was maybe like a $75 or $100 difference, something like that. But those printers were out of stock at the time, so I settled for this one because I was just getting started into sublimation and I wasn't sure if it was going to be something that I was going to stick with. So this is a great starting point if you're just starting on sublimation, but if you have the money to spend on a bigger printer that you can print bigger designs on, if you're doing t-shirts and other big crafts, then I definitely recommend getting a bigger printer that has those capabilities. Okay, so now I'm ready to print out the design for my sublimation coasters. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that in just a second. So like I said before, you do have to use this special sublimation paper along with the sublimation ink. So I will be sure to link all of that down below in the description for you guys. So I make all of my designs for my coasters on my iPad on an app called Procreate, but I've seen other people use all kinds of different apps on different devices. This is just my personal preference because I already use the app Procreate on my iPad to do my stickers, my t-shirt designs, any of my images that I put on my tumblers. So this was just super easy for me to do. So this is the design that we're going to be printing out today for my coasters. So if you notice that this is a mirrored image, the text is backwards because you have to print all of your designs backwards if it has an image or any text on it that you're wanting to read correctly on your coasters. So just keep that in mind. Kind of like if you've ever done HTV with your Cricut for t-shirts or anything like that, you have to mirror your image because it cuts backwards because you're printing it on backwards. So this is the design that I'm doing. So I already have it made. So I'm just going to go up here and hit this little wrench button, and then I'm going to hit share, and then I'm going to hit PDF, and we're going to choose best quality, and then we're going to send it to my printer. So I love this printer because it has Wi-Fi capabilities, so I don't have to plug anything in to print to it. So I'm going to hit print, and then it will start printing my design instantly. Okay, so there is our designs ready to be pressed onto our coasters. So now let's go to my heat press. I'm going to show you guys the next step. Okay, so now we are ready to press our coasters. I always put down a piece of parchment paper on my heat press on the top and the bottom of whatever I'm working with, because you do not want the sublimation ink to get all over your pressing pads that you have on your heat press, because this ink will ruin them. And if you are doing another project for HTV or another sublimation, you do not want the ink from your design, from your last design, to get on your new design. So definitely do this just to be safe. So we are just going to warm up the surface here to just help that ink really soak in. So I don't even push it down all the way. I just release it so that it's barely setting on, and we're just gonna let this set on for maybe 10 seconds or so. So then we are going to put our designs on our coasters. So sometimes I like to use this heat safe tape, and I bought this dispenser and this tape off of Amazon. I will link that in the description for you guys. You don't have to use this tape. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It really just depends on the design that I'm using and what I'm pressing on, because sometimes it might maneuver around when I swing my press and I close it, or if it just moves a hair, it throws off the whole design. So sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't, but I will link it down for you guys just in case you want to check it out. So the first thing that I'm going to do, so what works for me is I always hold up my design so I can kind of see where the coaster is going to be, and if I'm going to have any like overlapping or anything like that. I just set my coaster down on the design, and then I kind of just go around the design, and I make sure that there's no spaces that are over the edge where the white edge of the design starts. So this looks good to me. So I'm going to take this so that the design is facing up. And I'm going to do the next one the same way. You want the back of your design to be facing up. And don't get discouraged if you do mess up the first couple times. It definitely took me some trial and error. I can't tell you how many of these coasters I wasted in the beginning because it was really hard for me to get my designs to line up and my pressure right on my machine. So just be aware of that whenever you are starting. Okay, so we have our coasters ready to go. My press is set to 400 just in case you guys didn't catch that. And I'm going to be pressing them at 60 seconds. And I do have firm pressure applied to my heat press. So I'm going to slide my paper in before I forget. And then we are just going to close the press down and press the coasters for 60 seconds. Okay, I'm going to take you guys in for a closer look here. So be careful because these are obviously very hot. So we're just going to pop off so you can kind of see where the coaster was because the ink is a little bit more vibrant where it was not pressed. So you see how it's lighter where the coaster was? That's because the ink is on our beautiful coasters. Aren't these amazing? There's another one. So these are for an order, so I'm sure these customers are going to be in love with these just like I am. Alright guys, so I hope I helped you learn a little bit about sublimation if you're just starting out and you enjoyed this craft. Like I said before, if you have any requests for any sublimation crafts or any other crafts in general, be sure to drop a comment below. If you like this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up and don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any other crafting tutorials.